You guys, it is so hard to talk to a camera. I'm awful at talking to the camera, dude. Like, this is so hard to make. Oh my gosh, I'm also like really sick. Whoa! Okay, let's go. Got my orange juice, you know, vitamin C. Let's maybe try it. Alright, so let me just start by saying that I'm awful at talking to the camera, even though I've handled a camera for like the past 3 years now. But this is going to be one of those sit-down videos where I just talk to the camera the whole time, so bear with me. But I've always wanted to make one of these how I got into college videos, or in my case, how I got into Yale University. But I've been putting it off since like the beginning of the semester, and I have my reasons for it. One was because I feel like I had a different story to tell, and that if I shared my, of like my stats or extracurriculars or essays or whatnot, I feel like people would like judge me and pretty much I'm making myself vulnerable, and that really scared me. But whenever I thought back to senior year and how like around this time of year I was binge watching all these videos, they really helped me in a way, and I want to give back to the community now, to the college niche now, and help you guys with this college admissions process. Now, you know how whenever like you watch those videos and you see people like listing their stats and like, the AP scores, SATs, ACTs, and like they have insane credentials and whatnot. That is not me. I found it really hard to relate to those because even though I was doing like similar things, it really mine was really different, I would say. And I'm not going to be doing that in this video, but I do want to tell a story instead. I think stories have a lot more to say and all that. And of course, what better time to tell the story than during finals week, whenever I have 2 finals pretty soon. But yeah, let's start the story. I'm just gonna tell you like my whole like I would say academic journey, especially during like high school, because that's like the most important part of it. But I just want to give a quick background on myself. I was born in Dhaka, which is the capital of Chin State in Burma, and I remember just growing up there until I was like 3 years old, and then we had to move to a bigger city where my dad enrolled me in a school that taught English. Now, I was not able to like speak the language fluently, but I understood like phrases here and there, and that was pretty much like my life for 3 years. And at this point, if you know Burma's history, we have the longest like never-ending civil war, and at that time it was very dangerous. So my family and I decided to flee the country as refugees to Malaysia. And life around like whenever I was like 6 or 7, that was when we had to flee, and it was very tough. I remember whenever we had to live in the jungles of Malaysia, in refugee camps, and it was just tough. But at the same time, that was whenever my curiosity for learning actually came up. I got myself a 2,000 word children's dictionary where I would like study the words and the phrases and examples, sentences and whatnot, and recite them to my dad. Or I would just like buy short stories and I would read them and memorize them and also recite those to my dad. And like my English got better and better. And after my family had enough money to actually rent an apartment building in a city, my dad enrolled my sister and I to this community school that was taught by American teachers. And for the most part, I remember like enjoying it a lot because you're a kid and you're just learning new things, and that was pretty wild. But yeah, for 2.5 years we lived in Malaysia, and even though like life wasn't perfect, we enjoyed it. And it wasn't long until we were resettled in the United States through the UN. And to be more specific, we were resettled in Jacksonville, Florida, where I started 3rd grade. I went to an elementary school called San Jose, where I had ESL classes. Now, ESL, if you don't know, is English as Second Language. And so I was put in this room with other refugees where we were taught English from ground up. And we were given like an assistant. If we didn't understand anything the teacher was saying, she would help translate for us. And after a year, I was able to speak English fluently, and I got out of the program. If anything, cartoons really do help. But yeah, long story short, we kept moving a lot. From Texas, Missouri, where I spent like the majority of all of my middle school years. And then in 2015, we moved down to Louisiana. And this is the part of the story that I really want to focus on because starting from high school, this was everything that I focus on leading up to college, pretty much. So high school. Oh gosh, high school. Okay. So like every other 14, 15-year-old, you have some good friends in middle school. And so whenever we moved down to Lafayette, Louisiana, it was awful for me because I missed my friends and all that. I hated moving, every aspect of it. And so whenever like school started, I was like the new kid, you know. I mean, every freshman was new there, but I felt like a new kid, you know, with new environment, new city, no friends whatsoever, and so it was awful. Like I would remember like eating lunch by myself for a long time because I didn't have anyone to talk to, or I didn't put effort into like making friends and whatnot. And yeah, it was just bad. But if anything, like I remember like that's happy, I would say was the advice that my cousin told me, and he said, Stanley, be yourself. And I know it's really cheesy, but like at that time I did not even comprehend what that like meant. I was like, well, yeah, what does that mean, you know? But now that I think about it, that has it has such a deep meaning to it. And I try to keep that advice in my head throughout the entirety of my high school. And also going into high school, I heard like ACT or SAT maybe like once. So like I was not like well informed or whatnot. Like to be honest, like I didn't even know. So whenever I switched up my classes, you know, all that stuff too, I took honor classes and I wanted to take some AP courses, but they told me that I had to be in the gifted program, which is a program that my school offers. Now my school is it's a school that has like 2,500 kids, but the gifted program has like maybe several hundred or so. And so it's like this very rigorous course where we learn everything in a fast-paced like environment. And so they told me I had to test for this program, and if I make it, you know, I can switch my classes and take AP courses. So I did, and thankfully I passed. But they told me that the AP course that I wanted was full. So I was very bummed, but I switched my honor classes to gifted classes, and I actually kept some of my honors classes. Mr. Bim, I'm talking about you, by the way, because I love their teaching so much. But the teachers were great. Everything was great. Oh yeah, I also joined a couple clubs, you know, like some volunteering clubs like Beta Club, Key Club, you know, to help my resume look good for college and whatnot, because that's like the word around school or like with counselors and whatnot. And so, you know, I did know a little bit about college, but not that much. I also played tennis. I was in the varsity team. And so, yeah, I think that's about it for like my freshman year. Like nothing really happened. It was kind of boring, to be honest, but I quite enjoyed my freshman year. Now, sophomore year. Sophomore year has a very special place in my heart because it was the year that I discovered what I love doing, and I'm even doing it right now. But regarding class-wise, I took 2 more AP classes, AP Government and AP US History. I doubled up on my social studies that year because I wanted to knock my 2 credits out of the way. And so I did that. Regarding clubs, I was in the same clubs. I think I joined maybe one more, which was Alpha and Omega, which is a Christian club where we meet together, we pray, and we just discuss things in the Bible. And that was pretty fun. But the reason why I say it's a very special, like this year has a very special place in my heart, is because it was the year that I discovered Casey Neistat on YouTube. Now, this was 2016, and if you don't know, you know, he's the guy with the camera and the glasses, and he makes daily vlogs. I was obsessed with him pretty much. I watched all his videos. He even made me like pick up a camera. Like I was just inspired by him. I remember like around Thanksgiving, I asked my dad for a camera. And even though it's not like the camera I have now, it was a $200 Vixia camcorder that he bought me, and I remember just like taking that little thing everywhere, you know, like just like on my daily strolls or whatnot. Like I just brought it everywhere, and I made little videos. I think I privatized them on my YouTube now, but like if you guys want to see it, I can maybe like, you know, privatize it in the future. But I made little like tons of videos. I remember like my teachers would assign like video projects, like my US history teacher. He made us do a project called History Rocks, where we had to make a parody to a song with lyrics that reference to like US history, like, you know, like things that happened. And while people were doing it for the sake of just doing it, I took it seriously. Like, I was like, okay, we're gonna make a legit music video and we're gonna have the best one. And looking back at it now, I'm like, what was I even doing? But again, I feel proud of myself because those are the little things that add up to like me falling in love with just the craft of making videos and telling stories. And so yeah, I remember sophomore year just carried on, and yeah, also, this was the time of year around March when we had to take the pre-ACT as sophomores, and I remember just like going into the room and like not knowing what to expect because like I never heard of this, or like it's just like, okay, it's just gonna be some normal test and I think I'm gonna do fine on it. And when I took the test, I had mixed feelings about it. Like I was like, okay, maybe like I did not do too well or whatnot. But whenever the scores came out, like two months later, I got a 25 on it, and I guess at the time I was like, it's fine. But I know that deep inside me, like whenever I've heard my friends got like 35s or 36 or like high scores, like it just kind of, I don't know, I was a bit disappointed in myself, and that was like kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of like hit me in a sense, because I always knew that one, I'm not the best test taker. Like I knew that coming in. I suck at test taking. Like I'm not blessed, as someone would say, I'm not blessed by the test taking gods. I'm awful at it. So whenever I got that 25, it was just, I don't know. Even now, I'm just like 25. So yeah, sophomore year just carried on, and we got district champions. I played number 1 doubles with my partner, and it was amazing. What else? Let's see. I also got contacted by an author who was in need of an illustrator, and during that time, I drew lots of stuff, and I drew something for a friend who knew the author, and the author was in need of someone, so that's how I got connected with the author. And towards the end of the year, I met up with her, and she talked me into her project, and we decided to work on it, and I'll tell more about this during my senior year. But yeah, everything was just going great. Summer came. Summer came, and I just helped my parents out with their sushi bar. Now, at this point, I just want to take a break and just talk about my parents for a bit. My parents work in the sushi franchise, so we have a little bar in a supermarket, and they spend like 10 plus hours working every day for 363 days a year, only 2 off days in a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving. So whenever I work with them for like the summer, like I just learned how hard they work to keep our family living and meeting our needs and whatnot. I just learned how much they sacrifice and how much they love us, and like whenever I helped them, I would come home and just pass out because I was exhausted. You wake up at 6, you come home at like 5, and then you have more prep work to do, which was just very tiring. But helping them out that summer taught me how my parents really did go through a lot, just sustaining the family and just providing everything for us. That's all I could remember for sophomore year, just working, and that was pretty much it, yeah. And now junior year. Junior year was very important to me in that it really solidified my college applications regarding my extracurriculars or my essays. Like it really revolves around the things I did my junior year. Now, you know how some people say that junior year is like the hardest year of like your high school career, and I completely agree with that because I took 4 AP classes: physics, chemistry, Euro, and English 3. And I just remember just being drowned in work. Now, I know some people who took like even more AP classes. Like, I'm like, how do you even do that? Like, are you even human at this point? But yeah, it was just a lot of work. Now, regarding clubs, I joined 2 new clubs, Mu Alpha Theta, which is a math club, and Science Olympiad. Now, I did not go like really deep into those clubs. I was just like joining them to see how it's like, new experiences or whatnot. And I enjoyed them for the most part. I also joined NHS, which is another volunteering club, of course. But you could only do that as an upperclassman in my school, so I joined that. Yeah, but I think the best club that I joined my junior year was Yearbook. And in Yearbook, we were actually handpicked by the editors. So I really owe everything to Yearbook, to be honest. It's whenever I got my camera that I have now, the 80D, And you know, like it was like yearbook really wasn't opening for me to just experience like the school and what it has to offer. I went to football games, I went to soccer games, I went to inductions, like performances. It really just made me fall in love with the school that I really hated, like whenever I went there as a freshman. Now it was also just a way of exposing me to this craft. You know, like being in yearbook, you have to go out there and take pictures. And I'll be honest, like I took pictures, but I also like took a lot of videos, and I, you know, make videos on the side, and I quite enjoyed that. Like just being out there and just, you know, just doing stuff. Like you're so exposed to the camera, like you use your camera like for everything. So like if you ask me to close my eyes and just like work at the camera, I can do that. Like that's how exposed I was to my camera and just this craft of just video making, just storytelling pretty much. And that was like the most memorable part of yearbook, and that's why I say I owe so much to yearbook, because it made me even fall more in love with this. And yeah, like yearbook was just amazing. Now fast forward a little bit. Junior year was also a way in which I expanded my social horizons. Now, what do I mean by social horizons? Now, if you know me, I'm a very like shy and timid guy, and you know I like to like be laid back and chill. Like I'm more of an introvert, but like if I have to like socialize, I can too. But like I don't know, I just want to like stay back and just chill. But yeah, like the editor in yearbook, of course, asked me to homecoming, and of course I have to say yes. You know, she's one of my best friends, and we went, and I had an amazing time. And I feel like, you know, after that, like I felt more social and just like more outgoing. You know, it's like, yeah, I went to a dance and I'm a cool guy now, so you know, like I'm gonna be social now. But for real though, I felt like junior year really just made me come out of the shell, and I'm so thankful to my friend who did that. And yeah, like I went to birthday parties that they would have, and you know, have a good time while also like, you know, keeping up with my studies and all that. So it was a very good time for me. Happy memories, happy memories. This was also the time whenever I went back to go take the ACT. Now this time around, I did try to prepare for it a little. I, you know, those like ACT prep books. Well, I got one for myself, and I looked over it. I practiced it. We even did it in class. And so like I was like, you know, I got this. Like, you know, this time around, like I feel more prepared, more comfortable, and I think I'm gonna do fine. And then whenever I went to go take the test, I don't know, but like for some reason, like I'm not sure if this is just me, but there's always something bad like happening, or like something about like I don't know, something bad always happens before taking the test. I remember like that day whenever I went there, I was like super duper sick like the night before, and it was just like rainy, and I got there just wet. So it was like, and I think I even forgot my calculator. So I don't know, just bad things in general. And so I took the test, and it was just awful. Like I felt awful. I wanted to quit right then and there. And whenever scores came out, you know, of course, I did not even improve. It was the same score, 25. And I don't know. After that point, I told myself, dude, you suck at taking tests. But I also realized around then that colleges, you know, like I keep hearing this notion of like colleges want those like who kind of stand out, or you know, are like special or something like that. And so I said, you suck at tests, so you have to find a way to stand out from the crowd. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna put all my effort into videography. Like I'm gonna pretty much work really hard to just stand out. And honestly, I think like thinking back now, that was probably one of the best decisions I made. I never regret that decision. So for instance, prior to me attending the school, there was really no videos of like my high school. And so whenever I decided to make videos, like, you know, being in yearbook, of course, I went to like all the games. I made videos about that. I even like vlogged around school, and you know, just trying to have fun, but also at the same time just trying to crank out quality content. And honestly, like some of the assignments that even the teachers like asked of us, like my English teacher and you know other teachers, like that really helped me. Miss Duga, if you're watching this, I hope I made you proud with all the videos I made. I really worked hard for them. And so yeah, like just trying to have fun, like I said, and that was pretty much it. I also remember there was this one instance when the coach came, like the football coach came up to me to make a video about like the gym, and I was like, why? Or like I was like, I was so confused. But apparently it turns out that Shaquille O'Neal saw the video and he actually donated $20,000 to our school for a new gym, which afterwards we named the gym after him. So like cool things like that just turn up, and I was very grateful. And of course, like junior year went by, classes were hard, of course, and work was a lot. But I even found the time to just work for this drone business where they just go shoot the footages and all that, and then they send it to me to edit, and I just do that. And that was like a really good way of just like learning the craft even more. And so yeah, junior year was just this like mess of just me like enjoying and just getting deeper and deeper into videography and all that. And yeah, I think the only other thing that I remember from my junior year is how like I got asked to prom by another good friend of mine, and that was very surprising, by the way. But like in all honesty, I think junior year was one of the best years, if not the best year of high school. And yeah, I don't want to say like I peaked in junior year, but I feel like I did. I don't know. It was fun. But yeah, senior year. Oh man, senior year. Okay. Now, before actually going into senior year, over the summer I was actually traveling a lot. I remember going to Europe on an EF trip for 2 weeks, and I took lots of photos and videos. And whenever I got back, I was editing for like a whole week of just that Europe trip. And after that, my dad, me, my sister, we went back to Burma. And now remember, this is like 11 years since we left. So going back, it was just this raw experience that I had. And by far, it was the best experience of my life. It was just like connecting back with my roots and learning about my culture. Because remember, I was just like 6 or 7 whenever I left. So I really knew nothing. So going back, like, you just have this appreciation for your culture and your own story, pretty much. You look at your story and say, wow, like this is very unique and very special. And yeah, like just going back, it was just amazing. I had a wonderful time. I met with family members. I saw like my beautiful country, and I loved every aspect of it. And when I got back, that was when senior year just kicked in. And senior year started off with me going to a yearbook camp. I was the deputy editor of yearbook, and so we talked about the theme and all that. And yeah, senior year was just a really good start, to be honest. Class wise, remember I knocked out like many of my requirements, so I only had to take 1 class. But because I'm in the sport, you have to have 4 classes. So I took 4 classes, and they were AP Calculus, AP English 4, Yearbook, and AP Chemistry 2. Of course, at this time, being a senioritis is real. There's like a lot of work, but at the same time, you're just like, there's college applications that are due in a bit. And so it's just like, it's like going back and forth. But to be honest, senior year was really good. For one, I made a goal to ask a girl to a dance because, like prior to that, like I've always been the one who's being asked to dances. So I asked one of my close friends, and she said yes. So I was really happy. And you remember how I say that I love like videography and like film and all like pretty much this right here? Well, it got to a certain point where I started a film club in my school, pretty much. I wrote the Constitution, I got it approved through my principal and all that, and so we set up a club, and that was great. Regarding other clubs, I was still in the same clubs. Tennis-wise, I was the captain that year. But yeah, like it was just me just going even like further into what I love, and I even started a photo and video business where I would be hired by local like businesses or like real estate agents, and I would make videos for them for pay, like senior photos, all that. Like I took care of that. So yeah, it was just like a way of me making my a little side money, but also at the same time just enjoying my craft. And remember how I told you about that author who contacted me? Well, after a whole year of working with her, the book finally came out, and of course it is a children's book, but she gave me 25% royalty to it, and I was very happy about that. And I also made a decision that even though that is all mine, I want to put it aside to help with missionary works in Burma. And I think that's one of the best decisions I've made because it makes me really happy at heart. And so yeah, we also did a premiere night with with our friends in school. I premiered my Burma film, and my other friend who was a music producer, he premiered his album, and it was just a great time, to be honest. I also remember making a gifted video for the school. We showed it to 8th graders so they could come and continue the gifted program through high school. And I was very proud of that video because it took me, I think, like 3 months to make. And it's one of my best works, I'd say. And it's just like giving back to the gifted program because it gave me so much, teachers, friends, and all that good, like wonderful memories. But now we're back on the topic of college again. And my first step at the college application came through with QuestBridge. Now, if you don't know what QuestBridge is, it is this program that if you are picked as a finalist, there's a possibility that you get matched to the college of your rankings. You have to rank your colleges pretty much, and they send it out, and it's just one long process, but if you get matched, then it's like a full ride to the university. And so this was around like, I think, late September whenever I applied. And so, you know, you also have to have like a certain level of like income or below to like actually qualify. And so I applied through QuestBridge. Okay, so ignore the hair because I was wearing this thing right here. But I'm about to submit my application form for QuestBridge. You know, with the essays and everything's filled out. It's just now time to submit it. If I get it, well, of course I'll be really happy. If I don't, well, there's always God's plan, right? So, I'm gonna record myself submitting my form. Received, I guess. And I think it was like late November or early December whenever the results came out. I wasn't even picked as a finalist, and to be honest, that broke my heart. Like, I pushed aside my college application. I said, I am done with this. Like, you know, I don't want to touch this ever again. But, you know, that's not that's not how life works. So I even went back. I even put another effort to just go and retake the ACT maybe one more time to see if my scores would improve. And of course, my score didn't improve by like 1 point. So from a 25 to a 26. And I'm just like, you know what? I am done with this. And so this was like probably the second week of December. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just do some research. Let me just see what I'm missing. Like what am I missing of this like process of college admission and whatnot. And so I researched a lot. Like, I remember just staying up like past midnight, like every single night, just reading like articles and even going on College Confidential. Please stay at that place. But yeah, this is as that place where people just go and just talk about their insane like scores and extracurriculars and how like amazing and ridiculous things that they do. And to be honest, that was like just like me comparing myself, and I was trying to find people like me who weren't like as distinguished, and honestly I never found like those type of like people on College Confidential, and that really hurted me. Like, everyone was having these perfect scores and just doing these ridiculous things, and I'm here just like, wow, I'm not even like them. Like, there is no hope for me. But I got to a certain point where I told myself, I think it was through watching one of Casey Neistat's videos that it really spoke to me, and that was this advice. If there's anything that I want you to take from this video, it is what I'm about to say right now. It's this mindset that I drilled into my head. It's this mindset of I would rather try and fail than not try and wonder if I ever make it through. The what if factor, pretty much. So I told myself, look, I know my scores are not even like enough to apply for like big name schools, but I'll do it, you know, because like 10-20 years from now I don't want to regret not like trying at least. And so I said, you know what, let's do it. So I called my friend. I said, dude, we have like a week and a half remaining, like we have to finish our college apps. And he was like, oh my gosh, like you're right. So he came over to my place. We locked ourselves for 3 days, just didn't even go out. We bought like Red Bull and like, you know, Starbucks, every like energy drinks, and we just locked ourselves and worked like completely like the entire time. We stayed past midnight. It was just awful. I'm working on my YALE right now, so we'll see. Alex, how about you?
Oh, I'm done.
You done?
I quit.
He quits. We even remember like playing this song. It's by Postmodern Guru. Like I think that song was on repeat like 40, 50 times, and like even recently my friend sent me a snap that said, "Oh my gosh, do you remember this song?" And it was playing on the radio, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that's like bringing back, those awful memories." But yeah, like I worked through like I think I applied to 7 schools, I believe. Some were like in state and like like Stanford, Yale, big name schools like that. And yeah, like it was just, ooh, even just thinking about it now, I just no, it's not it. It's not it. I remember in particular whenever I was writing my essays and supplements, I was trying so hard to be different. And whenever I sent my writings to a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, it didn't even take him long. He said, "Dude, what the heck are you doing? Like, this is not you." He said, "Just talk about your freaking passion and just run with that." And I said, "You're right." So I erased everything I wrote and I restarted over. And, like, I just talked about what I'm telling you, like all of this that I'm telling you right now, like how I fell in love with this right here and the things that I do, just like videos and just being engulfed in this passion of mine. And I guess colleges must have liked it because 3 months after the gruesome waiting, just like nothing's on their head, like in their heads, but just like, are we gonna get rejected? Are we gonna get accepted? Like just 3 months of just waiting this out. This was the worst time ever. And the fact that you still have to keep your grades up and all that, like it was just stressful. But I remember when IB Day came around, it's 28th of March. I just played my second to last, I believe, match of tennis. We won, and I remember my friends they checked their schools and no one got in, and that really scared me because I also did apply to some IVs. I think it was like 3 IVs or so. Yeah, 3 IVs or so. And oh man, I did not want to open it. Like I went home, took a shower, I said, "Nope, not opening it." And 2 days later, my mom and I were doing laundry, and that's when I said, "You know what? It's out of my control. Let me just open it and see what I get." And I remember it was late noon, and it was acceptance, and then like from like smaller schools, and then just rejection, and then rejection, and last but not least, I came to Yale, and I think that was it. I don't think anything beats that feeling. There's just seeing that that status update or whatever it is, and you click on it, and then this black screen just appears, and you're just like, what is going on? Like am I getting rejected right now? And then all of a sudden it's congratulations, and then it's just like bulldogs, bow, wow, wow, and whew, yeah, it was. I will never ever forget that feeling, as long as I live. We prayed afterwards. Thank God. I will never forget that feeling. I just had a little like teary moment, but like I don't know what I did to deserve that, but whatever I must have done must have been something right, I guess. And that's what I wanted to share with you right now. But yeah, after finding out that I got into Yale, I was really happy, and like I said, we prayed as a family, and we praised God, and it was just great. Like the next day, pretty much everyone in the school just kind of like knew I got in, and like I didn't even know how to react. It was just really really surreal, pretty much, and it didn't even take long. And I did not know about this part, but apparently like I'm the first Chin American to ever get into any Ivy League. And so like whenever I got in, like word got even to my country that it's like among my people that I got in, and it's just this big explosion of like news, and like people just calling my parents and just congratulating me, and like people were asking me if I would do interviews with them and all that, and it was just this, I didn't even know, like it just blew out of proportions pretty much, and it was just, I don't even know how to put it in words right now. And yeah, after my acceptance to Yale, senior year just flew by, and everything has just a way of working out. And what do I mean by that? I don't know what I did to deserve all the awards that I'm about to tell you right now, but it's definitely not through me, but through God, and I praise Him for it. And so, towards the later end of my senior year, I got like lined up the month, lined up the year, and then like I remember asking my friend to prom, and then I got prom king, and I got Mr. Gifted for the class of 2019, and it was just like these big awards that I didn't even know existed. I even got this recognition from LHSAA for having for the athlete with the highest GPA. Now I ended my high school career with a 4.42 weighted GPA and 4.0 unweighted GPA. And I was really happy with that because even though my standardized test scores were not like the highest, I worked really hard to maintain a high GPA. And we also got district champions again for tennis, so that was an amazing end to my senior year. And at graduation, I got the highest honor of the award called a American Legion Award, and graduated as valedictorian with several of my classmates because my school does it to where if you have a 4.0, you are pretty much a valedictorian. And so, yeah, like senior year just ended up becoming one of like the biggest like year of accomplishments. And like I said, I owe it all to God. Like nothing on me, nothing with me. Like it's just all Him. And it was just great. And yeah, like I went back to Burma during the summer, and I came back. I made a video about my home. You can watch it later if you want. But now we're towards the end of the video, this really long video. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, this is a very challenging video to make because I'm literally telling you everything that I've been through. So if I could just help one soul out there, like I'm happy. Like if I can inspire one person out there to go for things, I'm happy. Because like whenever I was watching these videos of how people got into colleges last year, I found it really hard to relate. And even just thinking now, when I release this video, like I'm scared. I'll be honest, because you never know if people are going to see you different, if they're going to judge you, But you got to be courageous, right? But yeah, last but not least, I just want to say some things that you can hopefully take away from this video. And I actually wrote them down here because like these are very important. And the first one is to not be afraid to go big. Don't be afraid to try new things. Remember that mentality of I'd rather try and fail than never and like wonder if you make it through. Like don't be afraid of failure. Like don't be afraid to get said no to, because that's where I feel like we learn the most from. And so have that mentality in your head. Second thing, scores are not everything. Now they are important, but they're not everything. They're the black and white stuff. Don't let it define you. You're more than a number. If you let it define you, then that's just going to hold you back, and you're going to start comparing with everyone else, and you're going to feel bad about yourself. So just don't compare yourself with other people. Like you're more than your score, okay? You're more than your score. It's what you do, it's what you tell, it's your story that actually matters. I remember one of the deans earlier in the year, she asked us, like, do you ever feel like, like you don't belong here, like you were a mistake? And every one of us raised our hands, and she said, don't. Because you were hand chosen, like we read your applications thoroughly, and you were here for a reason. Like none of you are a mistake, and that was really like a very comforting like statement for me, and I felt much better after hearing that. So, like you are more than what numbers say. Don't let scores define you at all. Number 3, just focus on what you love. Like don't dabble on like other stuff and like not actually get deep into it. Like find one thing that you love. Find one thing that you love, put all your effort into it, put your heart into it, your money, your time, whatever, put into it, and stand out from the crowd. Like, work so hard that you can make a name for yourself. Fourth thing, have faith in yourself, believe in your work. Like, whenever you're writing these college applications, like, write it like you mean it, write it like you're already in. Some people, like, they have doubts about it. Like, don't be like that. Have faith in your work. And like I said, you're not always going to be successful. Sometimes, college admissions is really based on luck, to be honest. But don't be afraid to fail. Have faith in your work. And number 5, just be yourself. Don't try to be someone who you're not. I know you hear this all the time, but like it's really true. Like be yourself. Like if you try to impress someone by someone who you're not, then you're really just hurting yourself, and that's gonna hurt you in the long run pretty much. You have your own unique story. Tell that. Like just share that with people. And finally, all I want to say is just enjoy your high school experience. These 4 years are gonna go by quick. They were the best years of my life, and I feel like college is gonna be that after like 4 years. But high school really was fun. Like whenever I think back now, like I'm like, wow, like, I wish I could go back and like relive those days, because like it really was a fun time. So work hard, but also have fun at the same time. And I think a good balance of those two is very needed. But yeah, this is pretty much the end of the video. I just want to say that just looking back at my life and where I've started and where I'm at now, I'm always so grateful. Like whenever I walk down the hallways of Yale or like the dining halls, like I am so grateful to God. And like I never even imagined of being at a place like this. Like even in my dorm room right now, like it's just like, wow, like this place, But yeah, I really have nothing more to say now, so I'm just gonna end it here. If I leave anything out, I'm always gonna be making videos now. So make sure you're subscribed. I'm gonna be making tons more videos in the future, so make sure you're up to date and you're always like just keeping up with me. And if you want to share it with your friends, your family, or whoever you think needs to see this video, please do so. I'm also just going to leave my Instagram handle here in case you want to follow me and just keep up with everything that I do here at Yale. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Peace.